was it like hosting a show? Like, how did you find it?
Oh, doing players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were the host of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you had a nice cast to work with. Like, you know,
Yeah,
you had
Maya
like
and
Lady
Leash.
Leisha
And Shorty,
you had
man.
Maya as well, Shorty.
The GOAT.
Like, how was that experience for you, man?
I liked it. I liked hosting players because, like you say, because of the people, and because I actually got to meet people. Like, I was excited to meet you. I was excited to meet Nasty. I was excited to meet, you know, H properly. I was excited that all these people who came through who were like either on the precipice of their thing, or I would literally be in a situation where I've heard their shit or seen their shit, and then someone hits me up like, "Oh, they're coming on."
Yeah.
I get buzzed. I'm like, bro, you know, I'm like a fucking chocolate Labrador sometimes. I like, you know, and just running up to people. I'm just excited to see them because I don't know. I get excited by creative expression a lot. So that element of it, wonderful. Presenting, I feel like I'm naturally good at presenting, which is ironic because it was the one space that I knew I was naturally gifted, but I didn't have that much interest in pursuing properly.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I had necessarily a look. I didn't feel like I was prepared to smile as much as I was supposed to. But I was always happy to concede on that show because of the people that put me around, and I got to freestyle on there and fuck around, and you know, so it was cool. It was tough. Don't get me wrong, it was tough, and there was some interesting moments where it was moments in terms of like how it was seen or looked at. But look, let's put it like this. Carnival was great when Players was on. Do you know what I mean? It was fucking, you know what I mean? A lot of people watched it in prison. So and then I was doing like
It has big prison crowds, man.
Yeah, so I was doing yeah, you must have had the same for Nasty.
Yeah, massively.
So I went in whenever I was going. I work with a charity called Key for Life sometimes, where we go into prisons and help. We do sessions with prisoners who are like on a rehabilitation package, like just before they come out. So a lot of them would be like, "Oh, I seen you up there. What are you saying? What's Maya Jammer saying?"
What prison did you go to?
Brixton, I've been to.
I went to Brixton, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah,
I went to Brixton with horses, bro.
What?
Yeah, so my woman, the woman who runs a charity called Eva, she took 2 horses into Brixton.
Oh, in the prison?
Into the prison, yeah.
Oh, right.
And yeah, because horses are like super therapeutic, man.
Really?
Yeah, get these guys to kind of just stand with them if they can, you know.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I did Brixton. I did the one that's
Is it Feltham?
Nah, it's off the Scrubs. In West London.
Scrubs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Scrubs.
Yeah.
And then I did another one in Woolwich. So yeah,
It's interesting. I remember when me and my manager went, and they said the same thing. It was like, yeah, like we have our routine of what we watch. They said we watch Don't Hate the Players, we watch You and Nasty in there, and they have their routine. And it was like a snapshot into sometimes why you do it. Sometimes,
yeah, bro, 100%.
That's how I was like, wow. Like sometimes you sit there and you do a show and you might get someone tweet and they didn't like it, or you know, you might even sit there and be like, I could have done better at that bit.
And then you get that confirmation.
Yeah, but then you meet someone who's just like in a different space in their life where they look forward to your TV show.
Bruv, fully.
And then you meet them. I remember meeting them and it really kicked me into another gear of like, this is like what you do it for, where you realize someone who doesn't have a lot. I remember when at the end, they had like a I want to call it like a governor, and they was like, "Oh, do you want a picture?" I said, "Yeah, come, let's do some pictures, man." I never forget this one guy was like, "Yeah, I'll have a picture," and everyone else like, "Yeah, let me get a picture of Mo." This one boy was just like, "Yeah, no, I don't want a picture," and everyone's like, "Bro, get a picture, man. It's Mo, innit?" And he's like, "Yeah, but like, I'm not getting out for a while, innit?"
Yeah.
So, because that's what she was saying. Like, when you get out, we'll give you the picture. And he's like, "Yeah, but miss, like, I'm not getting out for a while.
I'm not here for a minute. I'm here for a minute."
And I didn't know how long he was in for, but it was enough that he was like, "I'm not getting out for a while." But also, he said, "Oh, like, miss, I'm going to big man prison, innit? So by the time I go there, I'm not going to get out, but like, it was nice meeting you." And you just sit there and you're like, "Oh my God."
I know, bro.
Like, and I feel like you realize we have a duty of care when we're in this space, and you're like, that's where my art form is going. It's helping someone in that space to just disconnect and have some escapism, even if they're in a cell, or someone who's just in a place where, and you must have had it where someone was like, especially with musicians, where someone connects with your music, where they say, "Oh man, that got me into a really, really hard place," because you're very open about talking about like your struggles as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, mental health has been talking about that's been a big thing for me. Yeah.
How do you find it when, you know, people do open up to you and you talk about these themes? Because The reason why I ask is because as a comic, I get a lot of people messaging me, oh, you know, I'm going through cancer and I've watched your special.
Really?
Yeah, like I've gone to wards before and met people and stuff who don't have a lot of time to live, or people that have come to my shows and they're like, yeah, like I never forget, I done a show and this guy come to the show with some friends of his, and I said, oh, look, come up in it. And they said, look, he's got cancer in it. He doesn't know how long he's got. And I was like, yeah, come up, man. We do a picture in the break, and done a picture. And I said, oh, thanks a lot, man. And he knew he knew his time was up.
That's wild.
Do you know what I mean? And I said, and I'm trying to give him, like, no, man, obviously we've got the next show, we'll send out some tickets. And then looking in his eyes as he looks in my eyes, and he's looking in my eyes, he's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to make that show.
Wow.
So what?
Wow.
The question I wanted to ask you, is when you are kind of opening up about how your struggles are, mental health, and there are people probably open up to you.
Yeah, a lot, yeah.
How much of a burden does that take on sometimes your mental health? Do you know what I mean?
Nowadays not so much, you know, because I can confidently say that I've done so much, like, reading, experiencing, engaging about mental health and interpersonal relationships, that I actually feel more equipped nowadays to at least hold a conversation. I'm not obviously I'm not a qualified therapist, and I'm not I haven't actually gone through that degree or whatever, which sometimes I do think I should do, but I have real life experience. You know, I have done a lot of therapy. I've done retreats. I've read books. I've listened to books. I've watched talks. I'm fascinated with particular people that I then get to engage with. And like, if you'd asked me that maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I probably would have been a little bit hasty. Now I feel reasonably equipped. I've done a certain level of engagement to, you know, perhaps offer advice. But importantly, to your question, I don't feel compelled to have to give all of myself to a person, because one thing I've also learned in part of my journey is I am naturally a people pleaser, and I naturally want to fix things. But the fixing thing, that's the current process I'm going through right now. Understanding that, 1, it's actually not my responsibility to fix anybody. 2, somebody can only be fixed if they are willing to be. And 3, there's a difference between, you know, force, like, if I'm trying to push someone into making a change in their lives, I'm also removing their ability of having made that choice themselves. And that, as a caretaker, as I was called on one retreat, which is a real thing, that's tough for me, because I'm just like, no, but I can do it. You do got to do this, you know. I have to learn that actually that process itself is so important for that person to go through. That's where you build resilience. Like, there's like a Buddhist, I don't know if it's Buddhist, there's like an old story, you know, like a proverb or whatever, about a woman who was watching she's looking at a cocoon, you know, so it's like a caterpillar in the process of becoming a butterfly, and you can see she sees this little wing coming out of the cocoon, and it's already struggling, and she gets anxious, so she gets a little penknife, opens the cocoon, the butterfly comes out, but one wing hasn't developed, and then the butterfly can't fly and dies, because the cocoon's purpose is to strengthen the butterfly's wings so that it can fly.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? So I have to walk the line between, here's my experience. If you feel that relates to you, fantastic. And if you ask me a direct question, I would of course love to answer. But I can't do the work for another person. I can just try and lead by example. Yeah. So nowadays I don't feel, I feel actually more of a duty than a pressure, because you know, I've got something to offer. I feel like that's the most ancient fucking human thing. It's just I have a teaching I can pass down. I've been passed down teachings from my elders, and I feel a responsibility, now I'm middle-aged, like you said, to offer some guidance to youngers. And if they don't want to take it, then calm. But my role is to just show a path, you know, like you do. You'll be doing that unconsciously. I have to bring up, I left a comment on your podcast with Nabil, because he told the story of you answering the phone. Bro, I was watching that. I was buzzing, because I was so glad he chose this time to just tell that story. You know, I don't think it wasn't a thing. I didn't feel like there was anything else attached to it other than, you know, allowing someone to understand that people can answer the phone. Yeah, man. And did you know the effect that you'd had on the bill answering that phone?
No, I only knew when he
said it.
Yeah, and I feel like you know, it's always interesting the space that I've been able to occupy, because people often ask me and they say, why do you care to share your stage with people? And, you know, we've done shows and I'm like,
you do that a lot, the
comics
collabs, yeah.
But I just feel like life is whatever you want it to be. Yeah. So if you want your life to be eccentric and partying and vibes, it can be that.
Yeah.
But also believe that life has to be sustainable.
Yes.
I feel so much better sharing knowledge, information, a phone call, a chat, an idea with someone, because knowing that if they go off and say, oh, right, I had this idea. Bro, do you remember that time we were talking about a thing and I wrote the script? You gave me that idea. Sick for that, man. I'll say, bro, that's just what we're meant to do as people.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Great.
I mean?
But that's how I feel about it with the mental health conversation. A lot of the stuff I've done, the book, I actually have one in my bag for you, but
thank you, brother.
Yeah,
appreciate that, man. Can you sign it today as well?
Yeah,
I'm big on that still.
Come on.
Yeah.
Avoidance, Drugs, Heartbreak and Dogs is the name of my book, and it came out just a week before Rizzle Kicks officially returned, and it's like one of the main things I say at the beginning of the book is it's not prescriptive. I'm not writing this to tell. So it's not a how to. It's like, this is my life. I have quantifiably improved my life. I'm not like, you know, doing fucking cartwheels every day, but I know that there was a time in my life where things would send me, even when I've had money, I've had notoriety. Like Nabil was saying, I get sent, bro. Left by some other shit. I'm doing drugs. I can't maintain relationships. Now, yeah, man, listen, sometimes I'll hyper focus on an interaction or like I'll question whether or not something's doing well enough.
But the fact you can notice it.
Bruv, the fact I can notice it, and I'm in a loving relationship. I adore my girlfriend. Like, I can feel that. I didn't even know that existed. Didn't even know that existed, bro. So it's like all of these things. I think, okay, well, I'll show you how I got there. And then, you know, if you want to come and say something to me on a message and I can't respond to it, I that's okay. I won't, you know, and if I can, I will.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's it. And I have to remind myself of that.
Yes, what's good, people? My name is Mo Gilligan, and you just watched my podcast highlights of the beginning, middle, and end podcast. Now, if you did like this, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you want to catch the whole thing, yeah, I'm talking the whole juicy thing, make sure you go listen to it on the Global Player or wherever you catch your podcast. Take care. Peace.